listening to the Wrestle Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. We talk all that goes on in the realm of WWE and AEW every week. And now, here's your host, the one that will give you a reality check on pro wrestling, Flamin' Ricky Duraeus. This is the Wrestle Havoc Podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is Flamin' Ricky Duraeus, here to review Friday Night SmackDown from January 6th, 2023. It is the first SmackDown show of the new year. What are my overall thoughts on this show? But before I get on with that question, the question that we really need to ask ourselves is Sami Zayn's time in the Bloodline running out? Overall, I thought this was a pretty, not a great show, but it got the job done, in my opinion. Realistically, the main focus of this SmackDown show was Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. That is it. Of course, we had the main event of the Usos defending their unified tag team titles against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, who are now, of course, in cahoots with each other. But overall, this was a fine show. I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, the Bloodline stuff was realistically the main focus of the show. Before I get on with all the stuff happening right here on the SmackDown review, make sure to like and subscribe to the Wrestle Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the frickin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, of course, the Wrestle Havoc podcast is also available on audio platforms. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the Wrestle Havoc podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. All right, let's get straight on with the SmackDown review. Of course, as I've stated at the top of the show, the main focus of SmackDown was the chemistry between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Of course, Sami Zayn is the honorary Us, and WWE is constantly, in a way, if I can put it into simple words, getting me nervous every freaking week whenever these two are in the ring together. Or, I take that back, I get nervous every freaking week whenever Sami Zayn is surrounded by the Bloodline, even though he is the honorary Us. WWE has us guessing constantly, and that is realistically the beauty of this whole Sami Zayn honorary storyline. They basically took chicken shit and turned it into chicken salad these past couple of months. This whole Sami Zayn Bloodline storyline is the best thing, not only in WWE, but if you think about it, it is the best storyline in wrestling today. Because again, it has the fans guessing, and at the end of all of this, it's going to have Sami Zayn become basically the biggest babyface in the entire company. But the goal, of course, is not for Sami Zayn to dethrone Roman Reigns. That is not the plan at all in my eyes. Realistically, the goal of this is to basically reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn together to dethrone the Usos for the tag team titles, which is going to be a great thing. And not only that, the payoff of that is just going to be absolutely fantastic. But more on that right here in this opening segment to kick off the show. The Bloodline are causing mayhem, of course. They have been doing this for the past couple of weeks. Actually, I should say this. They've been, causing mayhem the entire time. But this past Monday on Raw, of course, the Bloodline, that being Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Usos, basically have been beating everybody within their path, all around the arena, all around the backstage area. They've just been beating everybody's asses at this point. So the main reason why they're doing this is, of course, what happened last week. You had Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns take on Kevin Owens and a returning John Cena with his only match in 2022. How fitting that his only match in 2022 was actually the last SmackDown of 2022. That was actually pretty funny. But overall, it was a great match for what it was. Was there really any big thing that happened in the match? No, it was just your generic, tag team match, realistically with the star power of Roman Reigns and John Cena, to be quite honest with you. But the Bloodline are causing mayhem, and Roman Reigns immediately comes out. As soon as Roman Reigns' music hits, shit is going to go down. So the Bloodline, the entirety of the faction, are in the center of the ring. Of course, Roman Reigns does his typical Roman Reigns shtick, this whole acknowledge me thing in Memphis, Tennessee. He tells Heyman that they will start things differently tonight. He will give everyone what they want, and he wants to hear from the Honorary Usos, Sami Zayn, at this moment. Sami, of course, being Sami Zayn, and of course being the Honorary Usos, this man is over as hell. I've never seen somebody that over like I have Sami Zayn. The way that they pulled this off has been absolutely fantastic, and it has flourished throughout these past couple of months. So Sami Zayn, of course, is over like a motherfucker. Sami says that we all saw how they kicked off tonight and how we kicked off Raw. They are putting everyone on notice, telling them that this year belongs to the Bloodline. On Raw, they showed up to send a message. Solo Sikoa won his match, the Usos won their match, and they are sending all of the entire locker room a message this year. And Roman Reigns, being Roman Reigns, says, yeah, but he is, in a way, being sarcastic because of what happened last week. And then, Roman Reigns replies, he doesn't care to talk about this year. He wants to talk about what happened last year. We do not know if you guys tuned in, by the way, but him and Sami Zayn wrestled John Cena and Kevin Owens. And he asked, what do you think happened? They lost, or I should say, some say they lost. And then Roman starts laughing. Roman laughs and says that is something he does not understand. Losing is not in his DNA. They did not lose. Sami's lost because of the fact that Roman Reigns, his shoulders were not pinned to the mat. So if anything, even though Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn lost together, in Roman's eyes, Sami was the one that lost because he took the pin. His shoulders were not on the mat, of course, as I've stated earlier, but they are moving forward. He cannot figure out why Sami Zayn called his shot. Why did he guarantee a win? Roman does that whole, tribal chief calling his shot thing. It's embarrassing when he calls his shot and he fails to deliver. He asks Sami Zayn if he wants to be the tribal chief, and he's trying to be him. And, he thinks that he asks Sami. At this point, things are starting to boil up. Roman is constantly asking, do you want to be the tribal chief? Do you want to, be me? All that stuff. And he proceeds to yell at him. So he went from 0 to 100 in this promo, turning over to Sami Zayn, being calm, all of a sudden to just being absolutely pissed off at Sami Zayn, which is great shit, by the way. And he asks him, do you want to run the Bloodline? All that type of stuff. And then instantly, Kevin Owens comes out, and Kevin Owens says before things go too far, he thinks he needs to calm down because what happened, he has some misdirected anger. He's always so calm and collective, but the last time he saw him like this was because of the fact that he was the cause of it. His problem is not Sami. His problem is with him. He has a KO problem, and it's driving him crazy. He needs to take care of that KO problem, and it's a good thing to do it at the Royal Rumble for the world title. Roman doesn't care. He says he wants KO to disappear forever, and after what they did to him last Friday when he beat him, he was in a great mood, and he will see him at the Royal Rumble, and he will manage to see him after he picks his balls, that being Sami Zayn, out of Roman's pocket. So, what are my thoughts on this entire opening angle that just transpired? This was perfect. And, I know I sound like a shill saying that, but again, this whole Bloodline storyline and the inclusion of Sami Zayn has just made things so much more interesting because of the fact that when Sami Zayn was first brought in, right? Before this whole, Sami Zayn honorary use thing took a whole life of its own, Sami Zayn, if you think about it, was doing this whole conspiracy theory gimmick that was realistically going nowhere. It was going nowhere, and fans are criticizing this all the time, including myself. I did not understand why Sami Zayn had this lame gimmick. And then he started doing this thing with the Bloodline saying, I'm the locker room leader, blah, blah, blah. It got to the point where Sami Zayn, of course, was a part of the Bloodline. You had the issues with Jey Uso, and then all of a sudden you go back to War Games, fast forward to War Games, and Sami Zayn showed his allegiance to the Bloodline, and now the Bloodline is all one happy family with the inclusion of Sami Zayn. But things are really getting interesting because week by week, and I tweeted this out, and again, I stated this at the top of the review. Every time when Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns and the rest of the Bloodline are in the same ring at the same moment, you get that goosebumps feeling, and you get so nervous thinking, holy shit, they're going to beat the fuck out of Sami anytime soon. It is not a matter of if it will happen. It is a matter of when. And it is that obvious. They constantly tease us every week, and that is what I absolutely love about this Bloodline storyline. And everybody is saying, Sami Zayn should be the one to win the Royal Rumble and eventually challenge Roman Reigns for the World Championship. Trust me, and everybody has told you this, that is a very tempting move to do. And honestly, I wouldn't mind them, but here is the problem. You got Cody Rhodes looming in the sidelines right now, and he is going to be coming back at the Royal Rumble because they have been teasing it at this point. We all know Cody Rhodes is coming back at the Royal Rumble. Like, why would you bring in Cody Rhodes, who is, besides Sami Zayn, like the biggest star that you have, besides Roman? He is the biggest star that you have and is basically the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. He should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. What they're going forward is they are going to basically reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they're going to chase after the tag team championships. Again, the payoff of this whole Bloodline storyline with Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and everybody else is going to be amazing. And it's going to be one of the best stories that WWE tells this year. I guarantee you that. Great stuff by Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. All right, in our first match of the evening, we have Kofi Kingston and Santos Escobar. Quick match overall, not a bad match. Both lock up. We get a Hurricane Rana by Kofi. He proceeds to hit a crossbody. He sends Santos Escobar over the top rope. Once we're back from commercial break, Santos is in control. He goes for the running knee and then goes for the cover and a near fall. We get repeated rights by Santos Escobar, sending Kofi into the corner. But then he goes off the second rope. Kofi goes for a drop kick off the second rope. Escobar goes for rights and lefts. He sends Kofi into the corner. Santos Escobar goes to the steps, but then Xavier Woods blows Francesca, that being his trombone, behind Santos Escobar, which leads Escobar to go back in the ring. So that was funny stuff right there. After that, Kofi he takes Kofi down with a drop kick. We get a cover by Santos and a near fall. We get a roll-up by Kofi Kingston. We get a near fall again. At this point, Kofi Kingston is in control. He goes for a kick, and we get a couple of body shots by Santos Escobar. Escobar picks up Kofi. Then Kofi escapes. Kofi then manages to hit the SOS. We get a cover and a near fall. After that, we get a kick by Kofi, and then he goes to the top. But then Santos Escobar comes up as well. Kofi then manages to fight back with the headbutt, taking Escobar down. Kofi then lands onto his knee, and then we get a cover by Escobar and a near fall. Kofi then goes for a stomp on Santos Escobar. Once again, we get a cover, but we get a kick out after that. Then Kofi manages to hit the boom drop, and then Cruz del Toro manages to interfere, so that's one half of the tag team of Legado del Fantasma. After that, Escobar goes for a kick. Then Escobar hits the Phantom Driver, and we get a cover, and Santos Escobar gets the win. Overall, it was a great match between the two. I like Legado del Fantasma, in my opinion. I think they're going to do great things on the main roster in the future. Are my hopes really that up for Legado del Fantasma now? No, but I think in a couple months down the road, I think they're going to really focus a lot on Santos Escobar. That is just me, especially with Triple H now, running things in creative. I definitely see that being the case. But overall, pretty substandard match. It was a great match, but not really, something to be special about. So during this match, actually, Michael Cole in commentary stated that we had breaking news and he was going to address it after this match. And the breaking news, of course, was we have Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view for the Undisputed Universal title. Overall, of course, this is definitely the way to go. Is Roman going to lose those titles? Absolutely not. But, fun fact, this is actually the third time that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns actually competed against each other at a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The first time was back in 2017, but the roles were reversed. Kevin Owens was the heel and Roman Reigns was the babyface. This was still when they were doing the Roman Reigns experiment. Of course, the second time was 2 years ago at the Royal Rumble, and I believe that was a last man standing match, which was a phenomenal match, by the way. Go back and watch it. Great match overall. I really liked their feud back in late 2020, early 2021. It was great stuff. And then now they're feuding now, but the roles are the same, of course, as 2021, but now it's just the stakes are so much higher because of what's happening, and of course the involvement of Sami Zayn. What the hell is going to be happening? I definitely see a lot of storytelling being involved and a lot of drama happening in that match. It's going to be a great match to see, in my opinion. Overall, it's going to be a great match at the Rumble. Speaking of Sami Zayn wants to enter the locker room. But what happens? Paul Heyman comes out and says that now is not the time. The Usos then come and they enter the room. He lets them enter the room. But then Paul tells Sami Zayn, remember what he said last week. He told them that life on the island of relevancy is staying 3 steps ahead. 3 steps below is bad timing. But hey, he still loves him. So, great, advice by Paul Heyman. But things are going to get much better as we go through this show. Liv Morgan cuts a small backstage promo on the Royal Rumble. After that, we have a backstage interview with LA Knight, aka Eli Drake. He talks about how he found himself walking through Memphis, but does he really feel the way he feels? He feels damn good, but not about Memphis. He talks about how Bray's plans blew up in his face. Of course, he's referring to last week, in which Uncle Howdy made his debut, and it looked like he was going to side with Bray Wyatt, but instead he attacked Bray Wyatt, and a lot of craziness went on. A lot of people are criticizing Bray Wyatt's, return, and how they're saying, "Oh, it's not paying off," And I said this about CM Punk. You have to give shit time for it to be good. You can't just immediately just assume that Bray Wyatt's run is bad. We do not know what their future plans are for Bray Wyatt, and I definitely do see them having this whole Wyatt 6 group, but it looks like, with the whole Uncle Howdy stuff, that won't really be the case. But also, if you look over to the Raw show, you have Alexa Bliss, who is going to be returning with Bray Wyatt. I kind of have mixed feelings about that. I like it, but at the same time, I like it because of the fact that it's Triple H, and he's not going to give us the wacky shit that Vince McMahon gave us 2 years ago. But at the same time, I felt like the whole Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt dynamic really wasn't working to start with when they did it years ago. But I may be wrong. But again, we do not know what direction they're going to take Bray Wyatt. He hasn't wrestled a single match. Of course, he's going to be wrestling LA Knight in the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, whatever that is. Hopefully it's not anything like what CYN does. Of course, you guys know what I'm talking about there. For those of you who quote unquote follow CYN, okay, I'm sorry. I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke that's like 2 years old. Okay, yeah, crucify me, please. But yeah, man, the Pitch Black match. Yeah, it's CYN all over again. But we'll see what this match is capable of. It's going to be very weird to see. And also the question that we need to ask ourselves is, who is Uncle Howdy? A lot of people are saying it's going to be Vincent. Of course, Vincent, it was, I believe, a former wrestler from Ring of Honor, and I believe he did wrestle at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view this past July. He was former ROH 6-man tag team champion. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think it's Vincent. Do I think he's going to be a part of the group in some way, shape, or form? Yes, but I do not think it's Vincent because of the fact that there was a photo that came out. Somebody took a photo. It was like a close-up shot of Uncle Howdy. And if you really look closely at the photo of Uncle Howdy, it clearly looks like Bo Dallas. And, of course, right after Bray Wyatt came into return to the WWE at Extreme Rules, there's been a lot of reports saying that Bo Dallas is on his way back to WWE. So, and of course, Bo Dallas is Bray Wyatt's real life brother. So they're going to utilize Bo Dallas in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, I think Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. We have Karrian Kross and Scarlett versus Madcap Moss and Emma. This was realistically necessarily not that big of a match, in my opinion. It was not really a match that was not important in my eyes. Emma goes straight for the attack on Scarlett. Emma is in control. We get a forearm by Emma, cover by Emma, and a near fall. Then Scarlett goes for a somewhat of a northern-like suplex. We get a cover and a near fall. Emma goes for a takedown throw, then hits a running kick. Later on in the match, Madcap Moss makes the tag. He spears Kross into the corner. Scarlett then interferes and takes down Moss, or Madcap, I should say. Scarlett then sends Emma to the ring post, and then she sends her across the announce table. Kross goes for a shot to the back of the neck of Madcap Moss, manages to apply the cross jacket submission, and then Madcap passes out, and Kross and Scarlett win the match. I do not know the direction that they're taking Karrian Kross and Scarlett. Now, he is going to be feuding with Rey Mysterio because that's where they're leading to. But, I haven't really been too critical of Karrian Kross's return. I thought, I felt like they utilized him fine. Could it be better? Yes, because I think Karrian Kross has all the tools to be a main event guy. And he will. He will. I just, I'm not really just that, especially after the Drew feud. A lot of people were very critical of the Drew feud as well. And, a lot of people had mixed feelings about that. And if you didn't like it, I could totally understand why. I enjoyed the feud for what it was. Was it the best feud that they did? No, but overall, it was not really that bad of a feud in my opinion, at least. Now with this feud with Rey Mysterio, I hope that they actually manage to do something great with Karrian Kross. In my opinion, I think they're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be interesting to see. But overall, I feel like right now, I don't think there's really that much of a focus with Karrian Kross and Scarlett. That is just me. All right. WWE touts at the fact that SmackDown did their highest rating in 2 years, and they say, now keep in mind, they said it was because of Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez. I laughed when he said that. No, the reason why SmackDown did that high rating, now granted, I didn't look at the quarters, so I may be wrong, but the reason why people tuned in and it got the highest rating in 2 years is because of the freaking fact that it was John Cena, and John Cena is a proven draw. And if you don't believe that, then clearly you are still living in 2013 with all the stupid John Cena hate. John Cena is still a draw, ladies and gentlemen. And this guy is a Hollywood megastar at this point. Everybody knows who John Cena is. But people were watching SmackDown because of the John Cena match, not because of Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez. It was a fine match, but we all know what happened after. Charlotte Flair made her return. She made her return. Then all of a sudden, she challenged basically Ronda Rousey for a title match. And what happened? Charlotte Flair immediately won the SmackDown Women's title for the 14th time. I have mixed feelings on that. On one hand, I don't mind it because of the fact that Ronda Rousey has been completely forgettable and has been absolutely atrocious as champion. I don't care what anybody says. If you disagree with me, then you are the problem. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Ronda Rousey is not good at all. When she first returned to the WWE, I was excited. But the problem was every time when she cut a promo on SmackDown, she sounded like she did not want to be there. Like, she sounded so casual. Her mic work is just not good at all. And that is the God's honest truth. Her matches were fine, but I just thought that, really, what's the point of Ronda Rousey at this point? I think Ronda Rousey was really bad. I'm not really the biggest Ronda Rousey fan. And quite frankly, I don't watch SmackDown because of Ronda Rousey. I watch SmackDown because of Roman Reigns and the whole Sami Zayn shtick. But on the other hand, even though I like the fact that I'd rather have Charlotte over Ronda Rousey, at the same time, I just, in a way, don't like the way they executed it. But at the same time, you really have to ask yourselves, who really on the SmackDown women's division is able to beat, Ronda Rousey? Who has that momentum to beat Ronda Rousey? Relatively nobody. Let's be honest. So I get why they put the belt on Charlotte. Do I like it? No, but I get why they did it. I mean, look, just because something would make sense doesn't mean I would have to like it. I had mixed feelings about that, but I will say this. You can't really deny the reaction she got. She got a big pop. I will say that. She got a big pop. And I'm not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan. I've been very critical of Charlotte Flair throughout these 2 years I was on this channel. Like, I've been very critical of Charlotte Flair, and I still am. I'm not really the biggest Charlotte Flair fan. I don't think she is the greatest of all time. I think she was constantly shoved down our throats all the time. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. I think she was shoved down our throats all the time. But again, I was just not really the biggest fan of that. We have Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at Jerry Lawler's bar in Memphis. They talk about all the matches that they had, and they said, Sheamus calls Drew McIntyre an honorary brute. Fast forward to the Charlotte Flair segment. She asks Memphis, Tennessee, if they missed the Queen. And, she says, payback's a bitch. Don't ask Ronda. She knows. And then we get these thank you, Charlotte chants. After that, she was away for 8 months, whether we love to hate her or love her, whether we like to cheer or boo her or woo. She's always been about three things: passion, consistency, and what she does in the ring. And she may be lots of different things to people, but she isn't complacent. She will not rest and knock down any obstacle and knock down anyone that stands in her way. A champion expects the unexpected and rises to every occasion. What she has done, that is what she has done 14 times. And then what happens is Sonya Deville comes out. She talks about how she sees through the lies, and she thinks that there should be an asterisk to number 14. She beat the half-dead Ronda Rousey. She is a fighter and wants to put the belt on the line. So then we managed to get Sonya Deville versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. I don't want to say this was a squash match, because if you think about it, Sonya Deville did get some offense in the beginning stages of the match, but this match did not last long whatsoever. So this match didn't last long. In the beginning portions of the match, Sonya Deville goes immediately after Charlotte. She runs into a big boot. Once we're back from break, Sonya Deville is in control. She applies a side headlock. At this point, Charlotte escapes and takes her down. Charlotte then goes with a kick to the head of Sonya Deville. She manages to hit a clothesline. We get a couple of chops by Charlotte. She hits a back suplex. After that, she runs into a kick by Sonya Deville. Sonya then misses the knee. Charlotte goes for the clothesline. We get a cover engineer fall. Charlotte manages to spear Sonya Deville, then applies the figure four, transitioning into the figure eight. After that, Sonya Deville taps out, and Charlotte wins the match and retains her title. Of course, you had to expect that Charlotte was going to retain. Why the hell would Sonya Deville beat Charlotte Flair? That's just me. But, yeah, man, overall thoughts. It was your basically typical Charlotte Flair shtick. Charlotte Flair, I will say, the reaction that she got last week and this week, Charlotte is really over with the crowd. Now, it really depends on the cities that they go to, but we'll see. I think, she will get a relatively big pop next week as well. That is just me, but I get why they put the belt on her, and if anything, I would have Charlotte over Ronda, but at the same time, I just don't like the way that they executed it. But realistically, I mean, the SmackDown women's division has been pure dog trash these past couple months, so what the hell? But yeah, that was that. We had a Lacey Evans video package. So this is, I believe, the second repackaging of Lacey Evans. And honestly, I am not that interested. I was never the biggest fan of Lacey Evans. That's just me. But, whatever. We had a Royal Rumble qualifying match. Ricochet versus Top Dolla. Top Dolla on social media did a terrible rap. No disrespect to Top Dolla. I think he's great, but I just don't think he's a great rapper. We had Ricochet versus Top Dolla. Ricochet keeps ducking Top Dolla. Top Dolla throws Ricochet down to the mat. He hits a boot on Ricochet. We get a cover and a near fall. He drives his knee on Ricochet onto the middle rope, but then Ricochet manages to fight back. Ricochet then goes for the roll-up after that. And we get a near fall. Ricochet then takes him down. He manages to go to the top. He hits a beautiful shooting star press after that. We get a cover, and Ricochet immediately beats Top Dolla in this Royal Rumble qualifying match, and now he will enter in the match. After the match, Top Dolla offers a handshake, but instead, Hit Row manage to attack Ricochet, and Hit Row are now heels. What are my thoughts on this? But before I get my thoughts on this, I'm going to continue on. So after they attack Ricochet, you have Braun Strowman coming in for the save and Hit Row retreat. So now, what are my thoughts on Hit Row turning heel? It's no coincidence that Hit Row has not really, how do I put it into words, adapted well on the main roster. And that is mainly because of the fact that Swerve is not there. The reason why Hit Row was so good when I was watching NXT was the fact that Swerve was the leader of the group, and with Swerve as the leader, he made things believable. Not only that, Swerve is actually a legit rapper. When they brought back Hit Row, I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, Swerve is not there, and he's doing much better things in AEW right now. So let's see where this goes. And them as babyfaces, they've been doing terrible raps on television. Let's be honest. The raps that they cut on SmackDown these past couple months were not good. Do I think that Hit Row is going to, change their ways and be more, I don't want to say better, but fuck it, that's what I'm going to say. Are they going to be more better as heels? That is a tough question because, again, Hit Row is just not the same without Swerve Strickland. It's just not. Or Isaiah Swerve Scott, as he was known when he was in WWE. He's not. I just don't think I see Hit Row succeeding, in my opinion, even if they turn heel. But I'll give it a chance. I'll see what they do. But again, Hit Row is just not the same without Swerve. All right. We get a video package of Braun Strowman versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship next week. Gunther has been on a monster run with the IC title. I love what they're doing with Walter. I think everything that they're doing with Gunther is exactly the way it should be done. And I think the Intercontinental title is way, and I mean this wholeheartedly, it's way more important than when Vince was running things, because they did not treat the mid-card championships like anything. And you can even say the same thing about the United States Championship. If you think about it, the United States title scene on Raw, even though Raw is a tough show, even now under Triple H to watch because of the fact that it's 3 hours, let's be honest, they put way more focus on the U.S. title than when Vince was running it. Because when Vince was running it, you had the U.S. title and IC title just not mean jack shit at all. Nowadays, you have both the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title mean something, which is great to see, because the point of mid-card championships are, to really start establishing people, in my eyes at least, start establishing guys before they get to that main level. And I think that's exactly what they're doing with Gunther. I think Gunther is going to be a WWE champion maybe in the next year, I predict. I may be wrong. Maybe he can win the title this year. We do not know. But the stuff that Gunther is doing with the IC title And what WWE and Triple H is doing with the IC title, I absolutely love, because the IC title is actually treated like something important. All right. Roman Reigns is backstage with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes in and says, he tells Roman that he acknowledges him. Everybody does. That's not even a question. He's not trying to be the tribal chief. If there is anything that he did that gave that impression, then he is sorry. He apologizes to Roman. And then Roman replies, I do not accept your apology. As his tribal chief, he holds himself to a very, very, very high standard. And at the end of the day, I need to control my anger. And no one needs to be spoken like that. Nobody deserves that. So he does not accept his apology because of the fact that I should be the one apologizing. So Roman instead apologizes to Sami Zayn. Again, this is great shit. So Roman Reigns apologizes to Sami Zayn, and Roman says, Kevin Owens is right. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at Kevin Owens. He's taking it out on him, and they're going to fix it. The KO problem is done. And then Heyman says Roman is giving a chance to redeem himself. That being Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has a chance to redeem himself. And the Usos, so while on the television screen, the Usos come out from their entrance to the ring, and Sami wants to support them. But instead, Roman just tells them, nope, you're watching this match with me. So we got Kevin Owens, and we got Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns next week. That is going to be a very, very, very interesting match because of the fact that there is a large... Again, when I always say this. Every week you get nervous whenever Sami Zayn does something wrong because you know it's going to piss off Roman Reigns. I think next week, and I predict that next week is going to be the catalyst of now what they are starting to build of the Honorary who's finally being executed out of the Bloodline. I genuinely believe that, and I think next week is going to be the start of that. Are they going to immediately turn on Sami next week? No, they're not. It's going to take time, but I think next week is the first step of that, and I'm genuinely very excited about it. All right, we got the Usos versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This was a great match overall. I genuinely enjoyed this match. I love the chemistry with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. One thing I will say is the Brawling Brutes these past couple months have been absolutely fantastic. There's one thing that Triple H has done well is really the booking of SmackDown and the booking of the Brawling Brutes. I'm starting to really enjoy the Brawling Brutes. Sheamus has gotten super over at this point. Like, Sheamus is more over. Like, I don't even remember the last time Sheamus was over, but ever since that Gunther match at Clash at the Castle, Sheamus has been on a different level, in my opinion. And I genuinely think that he should be the one to dethrone Gunther for the Intercontinental title. But we're not going to be talking about Gunther now. We are going to be talking about the tag team title match for the Unified Tag Titles. I said the SmackDown Tag Titles. This is the Unified Tag Titles. But overall, it was a great match. Jimmy and Sheamus start the match. Sheamus clotheslines Jimmy. Drew tags in. We got a chop by Drew. Then we got a throw by Drew on Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso then tags in. We got a right hand by Drew McIntyre, followed by a clothesline by Drew. Then Drew goes for a back elbow on Jey Uso. Jey manages to hit the Samoan drop. At this point, Drew is on the apron. We get a right hand by Jey, but then Drew fights back. Then Jey suplexes Drew. We got a side headlock by Jimmy, and then Jimmy is the legal man at this point. Jimmy then continues to be in control. Jimmy then goes for a takedown on Drew, but then Drew goes back on the apron. Jey then makes the tag, but then Drew fights off both the Usos from the apron, but then eventually he gets taken out to the outside. He clotheslines Jimmy onto the outside, but then Jey goes for a suicide dive. Once we're back from break, Sheamus is the legal man in control over Jey Uso. Then Sheamus goes for, it looks like the 10 beats of the Bowering, but instead he goes for 20 instead of 10, which was great to see. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn is eating. Now think about this. During this match, they keep on cutting to, like, they cut twice back to the Roman's locker room with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, well, Sami Zayn at first, the first cut, Sami Zayn was eating popcorn, and he offered Roman Reigns popcorn, and Roman Reigns looked at him like, the fuck? So that was the funniest shit ever. So then after that, after they cut to Sami eating popcorn, Jimmy, with the goes for the Usos splash. Off the top, we get a cover and a near fall. Jay and Jimmy then go on opposite corners to the top, but then Sheamus and Drew climb up the second rope on opposite corners. They both go for a double white noise at the same time. We get a cover and a near fall. Jey Uso goes for an enziguri. After that, Drew tags in. He manages to hit a neck breaker. Then he hits a neck breaker on Jimmy Uso. So he first hits one on Jay, and then he hits one on Jimmy. After that, both Usos are on the outside. Drew goes for a somersault. He takes Jay back in the ring. He manages to hit the Claymore kick. After that, we get a cover and a near fall when Jimmy makes the save. Drew then runs shoulder first onto the ring post, but then Sheamus tags in. Then he takes Jay up. Jimmy then goes for the blind tag. He goes for the double super kick. And then the Usos hit the 1D, but then we get a cover and a kick out. After that, the kick out happened because Drew made the save. Then Drew goes for the Glasgow kiss, but then Solo attacks Drew without the referee looking. After that, Butch and Rich Holland come in and attack Solo Sikoa, but then we get a super kick by Jimmy, followed by a bro kick by Sheamus. So at this point, they're going back and forth, which is great to see. We get a cover and a near fall when Jay drags him out. Sheamus off the top lands on the Usos onto the outside. He picks up Jimmy into the ring, but then Jimmy rolls up and Jay holds onto Jimmy, which leads to the Usos retaining their tag team titles. Overall, this was a fantastic tag team match, in my opinion. I loved this tag match, especially near the end, in which you thought that, like, oh my God, this match is about to end, SmackDown's about to go off the air. No, they kicked out. Like, you know, I liked that feeling that I got while watching the last moments of the match. Realistically, what made this match was the last few moments, and I really enjoyed this for what it was. Of course, it was pretty obvious that Sheamus and Drew were not going to win the tag team titles. The Usos were going to win the retain the tag team titles, and they did. Now, where does this lead to in the future? Well, next week we got Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and that's going to be a very, 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 very interesting match to see. But yeah, man, that was the SmackDown review from January 6th, 2023. Overall thoughts on this show. You know, was it the best show? No, it was not. But again, the main focus of this show was Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. That was purely the main focus of this show. Everything else, in my opinion, kind of took a back burner. And to me, while watching the show, it was not really as important. But again, overall, it was a fun show for what it was, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I'm very excited to see what they are going to be doing next week with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because of the fact that I believe that this is going to be the first step in the Bloodline executing Sami Zayn away from the Bloodline. It's going to be the first step. Will it happen next week? No, but it's going to be the first step of the catalyst will eventually lead to that split from the Bloodline. But yeah, that was my SmackDown review from January 6, 2023. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the Wrestle Havoc podcast on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as always, ring that damn bell for more notifications. But as always, it is Flamin' Ricky Durays from the Wrestle Havoc podcast, signing out.